Advanced YouTube ads secrets. If you want to sell thousands of dollars worth of products a day on YouTube, holy moly, this episode blew my mind. I'm telling you, we got Anik Singal, who is by far the world's most renowned YouTube ads expert, but he blew my mind. I mean, I have spent millions of dollars on YouTube ads very profitably, so I didn't know how much I was going to learn coming into this. And I'm like itching to just get started. So I have a new campaign coming out where I'm going to be selling a very expensive mastermind, B2B, and I did not know how to do a funnel for it. Anik comes on in this episode, wrote the ad. He does it live, the ad. I can literally take your word for word. We spent 40 minutes and he gets into the details of exactly how I'm going to do targeting on YouTube and then how it's going to lead to a webinar and lead to sales of my mastermind. This was an absolutely mind-blowing episode. Whatever you're doing, you got to watch it all the way through, okay? Watch it twice, watch it 3 times. This was seriously a course in this episode. I'm so excited. And Mr. Anik Singal is here. We have to address it because right before we went live, Anik brings it up and he's like, dude, we're wearing the same shirt. And I have been laughing for the last 3 minutes because we really are. Like, what the hell? We did not plan this. They're different brands, okay? He's got a polo. He's got a more expensive shirt on. I got like Untuck It. But damn, they're the same. That's the first time. 295 episodes in, Anik. This is the first time we've been on the same brain wavelength, man, all day from the morning. So we were totally ready. Oh wow, this is awesome. Well, we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna use this as a case study today. I'm gonna put the spotlight on you, and just for clarity for everybody, I did kind of clue him in on what I want to talk to him about today. So he's had a day to think about it. So he has no excuses if he bombs today. All right, he has no excuses. He had a day. I'm kidding. He's not gonna bomb. This guy's got YouTube down to a pack. All right. The other thing I always love to do in these episodes is, look, there are 2 people here talking that have done millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in revenue. We've bought millions upon millions of dollars worth of advertising. We have lots of experience, amazing teams. Please, everything that you do and you hear is education. Don't just run and blindly start implementing. Remember, it's coming from 2 people that have done this for a long time. So I just want you to be safe with whatever you apply, especially when it comes to paid traffic. You always got to be safe. But learn a lot, take a ton of notes, ask a lot of questions in the comments, and I'm sure we'll be answering, and others will help you out as well, which reminds me, leave a comment, come on. All right, so I am coming out, Anik, with a funnel, and I'm gonna ask you to help me with that. For those of you who don't know who Anik Singal is, you're living under a rock. This guy owns YouTube ads. That's what I'm just gonna say. That's his thing. I had him on a quick interview on Facebook because he's speaking at one of our events upcoming called WebinarCon. And, I kind of came into it because I've seen him and I was like, oh, I'm really excited about this interview. It's going to be a good interview. Like, we'll learn about YouTube ads. But when the interview got done, I walked away saying, holy crap, after spending tens of millions of dollars on YouTube ads, I didn't realize I still had something to learn about YouTube ads. And like, he simplifies things down to such an amazing level. He's helped, I don't know how many hundreds, if not thousands of clients at this point implement YouTube ads for their businesses. So you're going to learn more about him and you'll have a chance to follow him. And I highly recommend you do and learn from him. But that's making sure he blows our minds today. So let's see what he's got. All right. So we're going to step into the ring. So Anik, thanks for being here. First of all, man, I appreciate it.
And thank you so much for having me on, Anik. This is going to be awesome. I'm excited.
And thanks for copying my dressing style. It validates what I've been doing. It's still crazy too. Seriously, yeah. All right. So at Learn, we are launching a mastermind officially in October. We'll be doing it at a live event here. I'm doing now. By the time this episode comes out, I don't know. It's probably already full. But I'm doing a free mastermind. So I actually wrote a whole page. It's a 25-page sales letter for a free mastermind I wrote. The event's called Expert Summit, and we're launching a mastermind called Board of Experts. I'm going to be talking about this a lot, so if you're a student of Learn, you're going to hear about it. There's 2 levels to this mastermind. There's the level 1, which is for anyone who's looking to get started, and it's meant to help you get access to a lot of professional services and consulting and help. Then there's the level that we're going to talk about today. That's the level for multi-6-figure, if not 7-figure plus entrepreneurs in the information marketing space. Courses, coaching, consulting that are out there, already in business and doing it. That's the level I want to talk to you about today, Anik. So When I launched this mastermind, for the first 2 weeks, I had call after call after call. I was on the phone for 5 or 6 hours a day, talking to friends, talking to people that I want to be a part of it. It was great. Got a bunch of members to join. By the end of the 2 weeks, I was like, I'm going to kill myself. Like, if I have to do this for another 2 months, I quit. Like, I would rather go work like at a local store or something. It's just too much work, which gave me profound respect for people who sell on the phone. Like, that is not easy. Good for you, right? So I was like, but I don't know how to do funnels for B2B. Like, I don't really know how to make it so that someone comes and applies and talks to my team and buys. And I've never done that in this market. And so you've been doing it to a large number. And so I want to know how I can sell seats into my mastermind for, 6-7 figure entrepreneurs who are doing information marketing, but not have to get on the phone myself. That's the goal, Alrik. So that's the challenge. And I imagine we're going to use YouTube ads for it because you're here, but I'll turn it over to you, man. Go ahead. Take it away.
Absolutely. And so what I would say for that, especially if you're B2B, and I'm going to speak to your example, but if you're watching or listening to this right now, really think about yourself and your own business, how this funnel would really work for you. But the best way, we all know the power of video. I mean, you talk about webinars all the time, the power of getting in front of people. You may be watching this podcast on video. You might be listening to it, but we know that there's so much value in video. And one of the things that we're able to do with YouTube ads is create a very seamless process, step by step, for this B2B sale using video. So we're going to talk about each of the components. I've got several frameworks to dive into. And we're going to start off with the funnel starts with the YouTube ads. And we're going to talk about how to craft the perfect YouTube ad. It has 3 components: hook, educate, call to action. We're going to dive into exactly how to do that. So we're going to leave no stone unturned. We're going to dive in. Then from there, targeting the right person with the ability to invest at the right time with that ad in order for it to convert. We call that 3D YouTube ads targeting. That's been the secret to over $200 million in revenue that our clients have gotten using YouTube ads. And those are mostly clients in the coaching, consulting, course, info-based space. Many selling B2B, many also selling B2C courses as well, and coaching as well. And so we're going to dive into that, but we're going to talk about specifically, because you asked, the B2B side, because that's what we do. And then from there, sending people to a webinar and the components of that webinar, because if people are on YouTube, they're in a learner's mindset. They're on YouTube to learn. They're watching videos. And so you get the right video in front of them. Don't worry, I'm going to dive deep in each of these steps. But if you get the right video in front of them at the right time to the right person, then you show them that we can solve the problem that you have. They're much more likely to show up and actually watch the webinar, and then watch most of the webinar to get to that point where you have that call to action in the webinar, because they know that they saw you on the ad. They're in a video consumption learning phase. People are on YouTube for 2 reasons. They're either on YouTube to be entertained, or they're on YouTube to learn. And we want to go after the people that are on YouTube to learn at the moment they're researching. And what's a webinar other than a longer form video? It's actually exactly what people are looking for if they want to go deep. And so then we get on that webinar, and at the end of the webinar, instead of selling a course, or instead of selling something automated, doing the value stack, running the perfect webinar formula, whatever it happens to be, instead, we have them go and book a strategy call with a member of your team early on. It could be yourself, but obviously, as you know, Anik, that's not scalable long term. And I will say, I was taking all the calls all the way up to over $100,000 a month in my business. But then after that, I was like, all right, I need to hire a team. I hired, brought on a sales team, and I think you had Cole on recently. I've known Cole for a long time. He's provided some insights on the sales team side of things. We've got a lot of mutual clients, YouTube ads, and then sales, because once you have those leads and those people coming in, then you're ramping up the sales team. But then you have a sales team on the back end that's able to take those leads and turn and applications and turn those into high paying clients. So YouTube ad, we're going to talk about the 3-step framework for the ad, the 3D YouTube ad targeting to reach the right people, specifically that B2B audience. It's in the learner's mindset. A webinar that provides genuine value and then has a call to action at the end to book a call. And then on that high ticket call is where you of course enroll them into the program. So I'm happy. I'll dive deep, but anything you'd like me to expand on or questions on that, Anik, on the high level view?
No, like I started before. I told you before we even started. I was like, you are straight to the point. You break things down. You have a really good way of teaching, by the way, which is good teaching style, which I respect a lot. I've always felt like I had one too, and it's not common. So keep going, man. I'm actually taking notes. I want to prove it to you. Like, I want everyone to see, like, these are notes. This is what Alec is talking about, all right? So I got notes. I'm a good student here right now. So yeah, keep going. I mean, I guess you want to dive into number one, which is the YouTube ad, or however you want to do it.
So I'm going to dive into the YouTube ad. The one more thing, just while we have that high level view, maybe we'll touch upon this a little bit as we get towards the end. But the other element that pushes people along once you have them at any step of the way is also going to be your email list, your nurture sequences, and your omnipresent retargeting. And that's like a current, an undercurrent as people are going through. If here is your YouTube ad and here is a client, and they're signing up, they're watching a webinar, they're going to a landing page, they're watching a webinar, they're booking a call, they're becoming a client. If it's that process, you have this extra current of your nurture sequences, your organic content you're putting on YouTube and other platforms, and also your retargeting ads that's helping push people further. Because there's going to be a certain amount of people that take action, bam, right away. But there's also going to be a certain amount of people that need to flow with the current, go a little bit at their own pace to get to that point. And so the only reason I mention this at this kind of 30,000 foot view is, if you're watching this and you're looking at this right now, is to not miss out on the 95% of people that opt into your funnels that might not actually book a call and enroll right away, right? Maybe 90% don't book a call, and then a certain percentage of them will enroll right away, but you want to nurture those people as well. And so I want to make very clear that it's really important you're doing those other elements. And then I can dive into that. I'm not sure if you had anything to add to that, Anik, but I think it's just while we're in this high level, and then we'll dive into the weeds.
Go for it, man. Dive in.
Yeah, awesome. So now I want to dive into the YouTube ad side. I know, Anik, we were jamming a little bit on your Facebook page, so some of this might be a refresher, but I can also expand. Maybe you've had some time to think of some questions. But what I really want to dive into is how the ad actually works on YouTube. There are three main components. It starts off with a hook. That's where you pull your ideal clients in. You have a hook, and you really want to capture their attention. You have that 5 seconds before people can skip an ad where you want to pull the right people in, but you actually want the wrong people to skip so the algorithm doesn't serve the wrong people. You want to pull the right people in, push the wrong people away. And we'll get into a little bit more of each of these in just a second, but the hook, pulling in your ideal clients. Then educate. This is where you're providing genuine value on the ad. Now, this is one of the biggest things that people get wrong. There's hook, educate, call to action. We've done this with thousands and thousands of different businesses that we've worked with. Actually, I was just telling my team we've had over 10,000 people do our different paid courses, programs, training, and over 2,500 people go in and do our full program where we work kind of hands-on. And what we have found is the best script across all of those clients with YouTube ads is hook, educate, call to action, a 2 to 3, sometimes it can be a little bit longer, but 2 to 3 minute. Usually that sweet spot's actually about 2 minutes, 30 seconds to 3 minute long video. You have a 30-second hook, and we're going to break this down in a second. You have a 1 to 2 minute educate, and then you have a 30-second call to action. And that's the sweet spot for an ad. The hook pulls people in, and you need to tap into the educational side of YouTube. This is a big thing. This is something I actually really started teaching on more recently because it struck me, well, why are some people getting good view rates on their ad? Meaning people watch the ad, they don't skip it, but their click-through and their conversion rates are lower. The problem is they dip into entertainment. We literally had somebody have a flamethrower at the beginning of their ad. And, it's like, well, wait a second, like it's entertainment. It doesn't have to do with, they were teaching Amazon. It doesn't have to do with specifically, what you're teaching. And so if you tap into the entertainment, you're going to get people that maybe aren't interested, especially if you're selling B2B or business to entrepreneurs, kind of in the middle too. So for people that are selling more opportunities, things like that. And So what you really want to do is you really want to make sure you're capturing people in that learner's mindset, in that hook. The educate, you're providing value. You're now feeding that learner's mindset by giving them what we call golden nuggets. So you want to provide genuine value that people can actually take away. It's aha moments. It's, this was incredibly valuable, but they're bite-sized. A big mistake is you don't want to make this long video, because then that's going to decrease your conversions. You want to give a golden nugget. What's a golden nugget? Incredibly valuable, but also very small. So golden nuggets right there in the middle of your ad. And then the call to action needs to be clear, concise, exactly what they're going to do. I literally will show up on the screen. You're going to get to a page that looks just like this. Click the link or click the button right there on the page. It's going to give you a few times. Find the time that works for you, and I will see you on the webinar. And that's how I will close out that ad. So it's very clear. You go to this page, you click this button, you go to the page, you click the button on the page, you find a time, and I'll see you on the webinar. Exactly what to do. So that's the hook, educate, call to action. If you have questions around that, I can also dive deeper, give some examples of some hooks.
Yeah, I want to do examples, so that I can start to personalize it, because in your case, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. I'm struggling to find my case, because then, if you're running an ad for yourself, it's, hey, do you want to get more traffic to your business using YouTube ads? Or, I don't know. I mean, I'll let you say what your hook is, but I'm sitting how do I guess what I'm looking for is, at least they're doing $10,000 a month in information marketing or information sales. Do I just say that? So I'll let you take over from here.
And what we can do in a second, and I'll give an example of my hook. But while I'm doing that, if you could think about, and again, we're doing this on the fly. This part wasn't coordinated. But yeah, if you could think about a couple of what you would consider the key differentiators, the biggest things that people get wrong, like misconceptions that people have, the big thing that you're going to be able to help them with, what's an aha moment, and then we can potentially look to see what I would have an idea for a hook. Now, by the way, early days, I was doing all the hooks myself. It was kind of funny. I would go in, I would bring a client on, I would write the hooks, and all the process. These days, I'm so blessed to have incredible copywriters on our team. So they would do a better job, but they're not on this podcast right now. So if you have some ideas, we think of that. But before I get into that, I'll say the hook that we have, which actually I am. I will say was one that I did come up with, which is cool. The best performing hook that we had, and we still run this ad. There's other hooks that are now our current top performers, but this one is our biggest one, all time. And we're still running it to this day, that one particular ad, the way it was filmed, the way it was delivered. And maybe some people have seen it, but it goes like this. YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. Let's face it, Facebook ad costs are going through the roof. And even when you have a great ad, they're almost impossible to scale. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use YouTube ads to scale your business to 7 or even 8 figures. Let's hop over to my computer screen. And so you can see here, there's 3 components. The first is you have a big, bold statement. And you also kind of create this us versus them, right? A pattern interrupt, bold statement. YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. It's going to get people watching. Also, if you're not in ads and you don't care, you're going to skip it, right? So it also repels people who aren't a good fit. So really the only people that care are going to be the people that do ads. They're going to keep watching. And it's a bold statement. Then I hit the 2 biggest pain points. I polled our clients, what are the biggest pain points they have when they become a client with us? Well, it's either Facebook ad costs are getting more and more expensive, or, there are 3. Their other one was that ad accounts get shut down, and this one that didn't make it in there. But the other one was or if they have great campaigns, they just can't scale them. So some of their Facebook campaigns are working, but they're not able to scale them up. And so those are the 3 biggest pain points. I chose those two. And then I offer a solution, YouTube ads to get desired result of our ideal client, scale to 7 to 8 figures. And that's exactly how I hook them in. I actually use multiple versions of hooks, all one after the other, and that works really well. So I could dive deeper into that, or I also
it's super helpful. I think that's where it's funny, right? Because of what I'm selling being a mastermind, it's what is that tangible? Like, let's say I was offering a 10-week program on how to do your email marketing better. It's like, okay, well, then there you go. Like, that's pretty straightforward. And so I'm sitting here thinking with the math, but then I'm also wondering, maybe there's room here for me to have 2 or 3 webinars similar, but each kind of diving deeper into like one thing that I believe. So if I sat down and said, all right, 6-figure information marketers, if I were to sit across the table from someone who's like, I'm making $300,000 a year, I sell information, what are the first things I would do? First things I would do is look at their email list management, because I can guarantee it's going to be crap. They're not managing their email list well, which they're leaving a ton of money on the table. Number 2 is I'd look at their funnel and I'd look at their data, because I would want to see if a lot of times they're sitting on stuff that's ready for paid ads. They just don't know it. They're scared, but they don't realize their data is so killer that they could do paid ads. But I really would hone in on that funnel, like what the numbers and the data are. And then the third thing I would look at is how to increase the LTV. So I'd look at to see, like, because they might be selling an offer. Like, I've had so many that come to me, they're selling $400 or $500 offer, and that's it. And I'm like, where's your $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 offer? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, that's like instantly going to double your business and make it possible for you to pay for ads. So I'm here and I'm thinking, like, if I was making an ad and I'm talking to people that are doing 6 figures in information marketing, it's like I could have one ad that just says, is your offer even capable of scaling to 7 or 8 figures? Let's find out. Or something like that. I just don't have to. I think one thing you've done is those pain points. I have to sit down and think about, what are these people thinking about? What's really hurting them?
So here's my idea right off the bat.
Go for it.
If you have a 6-figure information products business, the reality is you probably have a 7-figure business, but you don't even know it yet. Here's what I found after helping X, Y, Z, my years of scaling to 40 million with Learn and working with thousands and thousands of information businesses, is I have seen that there are just a few key areas in your business that you may be neglecting. And if you think about it, you probably know this is true, that you may be neglecting that are actually the key to unlocking that 7 figures of growth. It's not posting more content. It's not going and doing X, Y, and Z, or putting more ads into the same thing that you've been doing. There are these, you're sitting on a treasure trove. Let me think here. You're sitting on a gold mine. You're sitting on a gold mine in your business right now. And I want to give you a few examples on this video, but I'm going to be diving deeper into this on my webinar. And you can click the link here on the screen at any time to get instant, or to be able to sign up for that webinar. But you are sitting on a gold mine. If you're an information product business doing 6 figures, here's what we know. Let's hop over to my computer screen, and maybe you're whiteboarding it out. If you have an email list, let's say you have 10,000 people on your email list. How often are you emailing them? Are you emailing the right thing? Are you building rapport or breaking rapport? By the way, you're the expert at that side of things. So again, I'm just giving you some examples, but are you doing this? Are you doing that? There are these different tweaks that you can make that are going to allow you to extract more. And what we've found is oftentimes you're only scratching the surface of your email list. You can triple the revenue your email list is doing without getting more leads. Then let's look at the other side. Let's look at what you're doing in terms of your ads and your marketing. Are you actually tapping into the different veins of your market that are going to work the best? Or are you just scaling up the same old campaigns like a balloon and eventually they're going to pop, right? So how can we go in and uncover those different veins? That's something that I've worked over time to develop and look at. And then finally, are you actually charging the right price and what you're worth? And, do you have that back-end offer to send people into? After working with so many people, one of the things I've seen is they have a $500 offer, a $1,000 offer, $2,000 offer. But what about that higher ticket offer that can be on the back end? And if you're watching this now and maybe you fall into that category, you're the exact type of person I'm talking to, because you have the opportunity to take, let's just say you get 20% of your people, but you get them into a higher tier program that's worth 5 times more. If you get 20% of your people into a program that's 5 times more than your regular program, that's 100% growth. You just doubled your business. And these are the things that we're going to cover inside of the webinar. We're going to dive deep and walk you through exactly how this works. So click the link right here on the screen. I'm going to uncover, and by the way, we just covered 3. We're going to cover 7 different areas in your business, 7 areas to unlock 7 figures. If you're an information product business, you are not going to want to miss this webinar. Click the link right here on the screen, and I'll show you exactly how this works.
Can I just hire you to do it? Like, can you just, it's like, can you just, like, can I just use that? Can I just like pluck that out of this podcast and just run an ad with that? That was awesome, dude. That was really, really good. That was powerful. I love it. I don't have any other questions because I'm going to go back to this episode. I'm going to pull that part out. I'm going to get it transcribed and I'm going to massage it. And in doing that, you didn't even realize, but you created the hook and you created the content section of the webinar.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to go over 7 things. And guess what? We cover these 7 things religiously in our mastermind on an ongoing basis. And me and my team will personally help you implement them and review your results on a week-to-week basis if you're in the mastermind. And now it's sold. It's like, it's done. I mean, all right, I'm done. This podcast is over. We're good. Everyone go home. That's all I needed. Well, so I'll tell you what's really interesting about your ad. So I want to speak this out so that people that are listening take away ahas from it. I'm used to doing ads for B2C. I've always done B2C ads. And in B2C ads, you usually pick one sexy hook. You got a freebie giveaway in your hand. Then you entice people, you excite people to listen to it and to come to the webinar. But you're usually pretty general. You're kind of hover, like if I'm like, I used to do a campaign. Here is an example. I have filmed ads just recently. This is an offer we're coming out with for the B2C market. It's information marketing for people just getting started. So I have a book called Passion and Profit. You get it for free if you opt in for the webinar. Now I'm going to stay at a very high level when I do this. I'm going to talk about the fact that information marketing is about to become $1 trillion industry. I can guarantee you virtually there's something in your head we can monetize. I have a book here. I have a webinar here. Super high level. All right, B2C, you don't want to get specific because you're going to overwhelm the crowd and they're going to be like, oh my God, that sounds scary. Exact opposite for B2B. And it makes sense. Like, I don't want to hear all of that. If someone wants to get my business, right? Like if you were talking to me, it's like, hey, are you tired of being stuck at $1 million a month in paid advertising and would love to be able to spend 10 million a month? I mean, I'm listening. You genuinely have my attention. And so here's a big thing for everyone who's listening. B2C, you might do more generic. B2B, get specific. Use the jargon. That's what's going to drive them in because those people don't have time to mess around with generics. They want to know that they attend 45-minute webinar, they're walking away with something that's going to impact their business because 45 minutes to them is worth a client that they close on a phone. Really epic, dude. All right, that was awesome. Unless you have anything else to add, I'm ready to move on because that's going to give me 3-4 ads right there. I'm good. Let's go to targeting. So I got my ad. All right. Now I got to make sure only the right people are seeing it, which to me, immediate objection in my head. Immediate objection is, dude, you're looking for information marketers already doing 6 figures. The market's probably this big. How are you going to find them? That's what my head says.
Well, that's a great question. And that is, and it's not the only people we're targeting. We're targeting those types of people as well, with our own ads. And one of the big things that we see is it's all about the 3-dimensional targeting. And that's why that's the key to this type of ad and these ads on YouTube is because if you're only targeting in 2 dimensions, what you're saying is exactly right. It's like a needle in the haystack. And so if you look at even just a Venn diagram, you have 2 big circles. There's so much space, even with a general diagram between 2 circles. But if you add that 3rd circle, it's so much more specific, the bullseye of who you're looking to reach. Most people, when they're advertising on Facebook, they're only advertising in 2 dimensions. They're advertising based on the demographics. So this is, does somebody have the ability to invest? Now, the basic ones are going to be their location. You could do age, gender, parental status. The other thing that you can do, depending on what your offer is, right? And then the other thing that you could do is household income. Now, one thing I will say, Facebook, it does zip code income, which honestly is kind of just, it doesn't really work that well because, you could get all the people in California, but not the people, so it's not individualized. However, on YouTube, Google has so many more data points they have YouTube, they have Google Chrome, they have Google Chrome, they have Google Analytics, they have Gmail, they have all of these different tools to determine, what your potential income bracket is, and it does it on a per user basis. So we'll get into that in a second. We talk about income targeting, but it actually has user specific income targeting versus Facebook's more, are you in a zip code that's relatively high income, but that doesn't actually pinpoint the right people. And so on Facebook, what people are doing, that was a little bit of a tangent, but what they're doing is demographic targeting, which is, do they have the ability to invest on broad strokes? Then they're layering it with who that person is. So does the person have particular interests? Maybe there's an internet marketing interest. There's specific people, like pages that they like, different things on Facebook, right? That's the kind of the classic targeting where you do a lookalike audience. So it's who somebody is. But you're layering these two things together. What are you missing? You're missing the time. When do you reach somebody? If you reach the right person with the ability to invest at the wrong time, what's going to happen? Well, nothing, because somebody's scrolling through, you reach them at the wrong time, they're not interested, they're going to keep swiping, or they might sign up, but that's the people that sign up for the webinar don't watch it. And so, because they're scrolling on their phone and they're just checking really quickly, you don't know when you're reaching somebody. Are they actually looking up this information? So now people go on YouTube and they make two other mistakes because they do the same demographics. We're going to talk about there are better ways to target the household income. We'll get in that in a second. But they do the demographics, but then they say, you know what? I had problems just targeting people on Facebook. I'm so excited I can target based on time, people watching particular videos. So then they go and they say, I'm going to target these specific videos or these topics or these keywords. We're going to break those down in a second. But these videos. So now you're reaching somebody with the ability to invest. Let's say you're doing household income. So they're higher household income. They're in the right geography. They're your ideal client demographics. And then you're layering that with they're now watching a video. Let's say in your case, they're watching a video on growing their business. But here's the problem. If you don't layer the right person, then you get somebody who has the ability to invest. You reach them at the right time. But if they're not the right person, what's going to happen? You're going to get window shoppers. Oh, I'm just looking, I'm just researching, I'm just taking a look. Or I'm not really a fit for this. I was just curious how people do this marketing thing or whatever. Versus if you layer in all of the above, which you can only do here on YouTube, right? You can layer in these. Now you can also do it in Google search, but with Google search, the problem is you don't have video. So you don't have the rich media. So you don't actually have the ability to hook them, educate, call to action. So YouTube's the best platform to do this. You can go in and you can target them based on the fact that they are the right person. So you do the audience targeting. So you can add in, we're going to get deeper. We can dive deeper into these. There's URL affinity audiences, people who have been to specific sites like ClickFunnels. One of our audiences is people who have been to clickfunnels.com. There's a URL affinity audience. You could set up Google search intent, what people have searched in the past on Google. You can set up audiences built around the fact that they're a coach, consultant, or information marketer. You can actually go in and build custom audiences and give Google terms that Google can identify using their machine learning that this person identifies with this particular term, like internet marketing, like coach, like consultant. And you could take this person and layer it with your demographic. So they're let's say in the United States, wherever you want to target. If you have we don't do as much with the demographic because we work with all kinds of different people. But if you want to do that, that usually we've got clients who do like weight loss stuff. They work with specific people or the other. But for this, it might be a little more broad. But then you can add in household income. That's big for you. You're going to want to target at least top 20%, if not just top 10 for what you're looking for. And anybody who's selling anything high ticket, we always recommend top 30%. And I can break down each of these in just a second to get a little bit clearer. But now you have higher income people. They're going on clickfunnels.com or they identify in some way, or Google identifies them with the terms coach, consultant, those types of things based on what they've searched in the past, what they've shown an affinity to on Google. And then you're layering it with the fact that they're watching videos that have the keyword of grow my business, marketing, scaling. And you're layering now the right person with the ability to invest at the right time with the right YouTube ad. It's a Venn diagram, and you're pinpointing that perfect person right in the middle. And that is how to dial in those ads.
So just to clarify, bucket one makes perfect sense. Demographics, you're going to go in there and say, like, for example, for the mastermind initially, maybe I'll just do US. The income demographics, they only have for US and Canada, right? They don't have it for like Australia and other places. Do you know that with YouTube?
So yes, there are challenges in the UK and other places in Europe. Now, one thing that I will say is we have found six. Okay, so well, all right. You might have some form of success setting up a campaign in the US, choosing income demographics, and then changing the campaign to another country. Something you could try.
Okay.
Doesn't always. I'm not like that might change at any time, but it's something. It's something that you can try.
Sounds
But
like
yes, in general, US and Canada are the main ways that you target.
sounds like there was like a dark secret there that he wanted to get out, but didn't really want to draw attention to, because it's like he was in some meeting yesterday with like the Google overlords. So it's like, I didn't say it, but I said it. I like that. I'm going to try that. All right. So the income one makes sense, right? So you're going after people in this region, this income. I mean, it makes perfect sense because the eventual program is going to be $20,000. So it's like, you want to make sure they can afford that. I got a little confused between the other two. So now the second bucket is keywords. So in my case, it's keywords like copywriting, funnels, paid ads, YouTube ads, Facebook. It's just like things that they're searching for. And then the third bucket would be like a series of URLs where I'm like, hey, affinity to these types of sites. Did I get that right?
Yeah, so we'll talk about, so there's the audience bucket of who somebody is. And then there's the bucket of the video targeting, right? The specific targeting, also we call it intent. So what somebody's watching. And the targeting with the keyword side, let's break that down first. So by the way, let's actually go one at a time. So just on the household income bracket, exactly what you're saying. I'll just say it real quick because I want to provide massive value here. I know a lot of your people are taking notes and stuff. So if you're selling anything over $100, top 50% household income, anything over 100, we've tested this, because the problem is the top 50%, even the United States, or the bottom 50%, I mean to say, of people, even in the United States, have less than $1,000 in their savings account. So if you're going over $100, you need to target just top 50%. Then top 40% if it's over $1,000, if it's over $3,000, top 30%. If it's over, if it's over 5,000 or 10,000, you could do top 20. If it's $20,000 or more, you probably just want to do just top 10%. And that's kind of in general, a general rough range. Now, what I recommend though, is going a little bit outside of that because your mileage may vary. So you want to go you can go a little broader first. So you might start with top 20 and then see how that 11 to 20% works versus top 10. Somebody else might go start with top 30 or start with top 40 or 50, depending on what your price point is, what your offer is. It's important to know though, if you are selling a $997 offer on the front end or a $2,000 offer, you do want to unlock a little bit more of that, that bigger bucket, because it's going to get more expensive if you just target smaller audiences. So, but that's offset if you have a higher price thing. The returns are much better than fishing with everybody. And so that's what I'd recommend on that household income side. And so that makes sense. Then I can go into the keyword, and then I'll go into the audiences.
It makes perfect sense. Actually, one of the questions I was going to ask you, not in relation to this campaign, but the other one that I'm doing that I just talked about, the B2C campaign, that's going to be a few $100 a month to be a part of that community with possibly, at least for the next 6 months, we'll have like what we call a lifetime pay, or, of about a couple $1,000s. So I wrote down, sounded to me like you were saying, should be top 40%. I should not target anything less than top 40. That is something we've never done. Is there anything similar to this on the Facebook side? I'm just curious. Or do you not mess around with this on Facebook side?
Facebook has and again, things may have changed. So they change things all the time. But the last time that we looked at it, what they had, and they had this for a long time, was it was all zip code income targeting. Very different. So I've had people who are like, yeah, I tried income targeting on Facebook, didn't work. I don't want to really try it on YouTube. But the problem is they're two totally different things. Facebook is income targeting based on where you're located. So if you're in, Southern California, it's just going to target everybody in that area, but not everybody is in those income brackets. So it's going to do the top income per zip code. You'll get some stuff there, but what Google is doing is they are identifying, they're using the machine learning. Now, somebody asked me, is it perfect? Well, what is perfect? But it's going to be very, very accurate, because Google, and it's getting more accurate every day. Google's using its machine learning to identify who's in the top bracket. You know what Google has access to? They have access. There's a reason Gmail is free. When you sign up, you click, oh, I agree, I'm all set. It doesn't mean somebody's going in and spying on your stuff, but there's a reason they pay so much money for Gmail to be free and all these other services to be free, because there's data and information that they're collecting. So they know what purchases are you making, or just having Google Analytics on a site, or having conversion, or what websites you're looking. They know what you're searching on Google. They know what browser you're using. They have all of these data points, and they also have the zip code. And they're taking all of those data points to determine what income bracket you're in. And so it's night and day. We've had people who just never did anything with household income. We switch it over. Usually what we'll do in that case is we'll switch it, like with let's say a high ticket person, we'll switch it to top 30%. And it is a night and day lead quality difference when you switch over to top 30%.
Does the price go significantly up for the lead?
It goes incrementally up. Let's say you're targeting everybody, and let's say you have, and by the way, I don't like to give specific numbers, but just to illustrate,
completely hypothetical. I get
hypothetical example. The type of example that I would say, that makes sense, that's within the norm, is if targeting all household incomes, it's, let's say, $8, it could go up to $11 or $12. Now, yes, awesome. Is that more? Is that an increase? Yes, but for the quality of that person, you're willing to pay that because the quality is exponentially better. And so that's kind of there's an arbitrage here, if that makes sense.
100%. No, I'd pay that all day long. It's like, miles better. Okay, so we're good. We got the demographic bucket. Let's move to the next one.
Yeah. So the next bucket is the keyword targeting. So this is the videos you're running your ad in front of. Now there's 3 different types. So I call the keyword side the Goldilocks of targeting. I'll give you some examples in a second here. But that's because there's 3 different ways to target the video your ads run in front of. The first is you're individually choosing placements, individual videos you want to run your ad in front of. And so what you do here is you're individually running your ad. You're saying, I want to target this video and this video and this video. I'm going to talk about a tool that'll let you choose all those in just a second. But all these individual videos. Now this is beneficial because you can get very specific. So your conversion rate is going to be higher because you're literally manually choosing these videos. The downside is you have to swap these out all the time, and it's less scalable. On the other side, you have, so that might be like porridge too cold. Then you have porridge too hot over here, where on the other, actually that's porridge too hot. Porridge too cold on the other side over here is, you have topic targeting. And by the way, there's use cases for all of these. And we in a robust campaign, and especially with what you're doing, you're going to want to use each of these types. But the majority of our campaigns are keyword. I'm going to explain why in a second. Topics are collections of videos that YouTube identifies together. For instance, there's a marketing topic, consulting or business services topic, right? It's broad. You're going to get a lot of scale. However, it's not as specific. So that's like porridge too cold. Right in the middle, you have keywords. And what keywords do is let's say, again, we'll use your example. Let's say somebody's looking up, how to market my course or something along those lines, or market my course, or, course marketing is actually probably better. Course marketing, right? Course marketing. They look that up. Any video that has course marketing as a keyword that YouTube identified that has ever existed or will ever exist could potentially be what that ad runs in front of. But remember, you're layering it with top income bracket, and we're going to talk about the audiences, who that person is. So now somebody, let's just say they've been on sites like ClickFunnels, or they're a coach, or they're, have a course or info marketing. You're layering it with top income brackets, and they're watching a particular video on course marketing. Well, that's the perfect person. So you can put in the keyword course marketing. You could put in the keyword, business marketing or information products, or, all of these different things, and then see what keywords work best. Now, one thing that we've done, because a lot of people are asking me, well, how do you find the best keywords and how does that work? And there's been some tools and things in the past, but what I actually did is I built a tool, and there's a certain number of searches you can get for free. So again, I don't want to I'm not just trying to say people sign up. You can try alternatives, but what I wanted to do was build the best tool for YouTube keyword research. It's called keywordsearch.com. It was great. I was so happy when I got that domain too. It's keywordsearch.com.
Seriously. And just pause real quick because you won't do it because you're humble. I will do it, guys. Just go buy keywordsearch.com. Don't look around. There's really no reason. I mean, seriously, he's using it, doing it. He's out there doing it himself. I've bought a lot of keyword research tools, and quite frankly, I don't know the founder. I don't know if they've ever bought a lick of ads in their life, whereas Alric has. So yeah, keywordsearch.com. I'm in.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And what it does, here's the cool thing that it'll do is it'll find all of the individual keywords because, let's say you have course marketing. What it does is it goes and it looks at all the videos that have course marketing as a keyword, and it'll give you the other keywords that are on those other videos. So let's say there's course marketing, but then you have another keyword, internet marketing or internet marketing tips or how to grow my course. So what most keyword research tools do, and this, is it'll just have long tail versions of that one keyword: course marketing tips, course marketing solutions, course marketing, for beginners, course marketing for blah, blah, blah. What this tool does, which is different, which is what I had been like, I was like, why doesn't this exist? And so I teamed up with my CTO, Greg, and we were just like, all right, let's just build this. And what this will do is it'll go and find every video that has course marketing or top video that ranks with course marketing as a keyword, and it'll find the other keywords. And then it'll sort them based on how similar it is using natural language processing AI to tell you these are all the keywords that are most similar to course marketing. And so now you have internet marketing, course marketing guide. You have all of these different keywords that you can then go and just, select them and put them into your campaigns. And one of the things that we did, again, I'm not trying to go too deep into this, and I'll get in the audience, I'll get into everything else. But one of the other things that we did is we built an ad spy tool. Actually, I'm very excited about this. We just launched it like last month. YouTube ad spy tool. Facebook, they have an ad library, and YouTube doesn't have an ad library. All the ads are unlisted. And so a lot of people are saying like, well, how can you see these ads, see examples, see what ads are the most popular? And there's a couple of tools that are out there again, but they weren't robust. And so what we did is we built a YouTube ad spy tool, and we just put it as part of keyword search. And what you can do is you can go and find all of the ads that are running in front of course marketing, and then you can see what they're doing, and then see what you're see what you can do. Yeah.
All right. I was talking about this the other day. I used to do this thing on this podcast. I used to say TKO. It's a total knockout, fighting entrepreneur. I haven't done one in a long time, and I'm talking to Cole, and I was like, hey, this is the first time I feel like I got to say TKO. And it just happens to be the next episode 2 days later with you. I feel like I got to say TKO, man. Holy crap. That is awesome. That is seriously awesome. That is a great feature. And I have wanted that for YouTube for the longest time. But you tied it by the topic, by the keyword. So now I don't have, because a lot of keyword tools, you already have to know whose ads, like on Facebook, I got to know who, and then I can put that into the library to see. But here, I don't have to know that. I just have to know what keywords, and it tells me what ads are running, which is brilliant. So,
and it'll search for what the ad copy and text is. So one of the best ones for you to do is not just course marketing, but you can search. One of my favorite to research is literally the word webinar. And then we can find the ads that have webinar either in the title, in the description, or in the link that people are clicking. And you can see those. And then in the ad, you can also see the other keywords we found them targeting, and then just add those to your own campaign. So a little bit of spying on there.
That is awesome, man. That is powerful. All right. Okay. So you answered my exact question. That second bucket, that's where I was getting confused, because you were saying list of websites, keywords. Now I get it. So we got first buckets, demographics. Mostly we're worried about the income of the person, unless you're someone specific targeting women only, or, whatever. Then the second bucket, you could do one of three. You could either sit there and pump out a huge list of videos, actual videos or channels that you want to target. It sounds time consuming. Sounds, like you said, very hot. But if you're in a market that's big, good. Or you can go topics, which we've done a lot of as well. We've scaled in topics. I will tell you right now, immediately on my head, I think that's a B2C thing. I'm not so sure that's a really good B2B thing. Yeah, exactly. In the middle is keywords. That's where it fits. So I get it. So that's the second circle that you're going to layer on top of the demographics is, let's just say for now, in my case, I will find the right keywords, layer those in. So I'm basically building a huge audience here of these keywords, and I'll tell YouTube, but now make sure They have to have this demographic. So YouTube says, oh, okay, now this is your audience. These are the people that fit the keywords and fit your income demographic. And then you've got one more layer.
Audiences, exactly. And so with audiences, what you're able to do is there's a variety of different audiences. Now, one thing I will say, and I know you said earlier, I have a resource. This resource is completely free. It's a 19-page YouTube ads PDF, and I cover each of my top audiences, like how they work in that. Now, I've got a webinar too as well that dives into it too. But like when we talk about audiences, we'll talk about all that stuff at the end. But when we talk about audiences, if you want to like it tells you like how to set up these different audiences. We cover some of that in the webinar too, but
where can they get that PDF?
If you go to AdOutreach.com, AdOutreach, AdOutreach.com/gift, AdOutreach.com/gift. I've got I think it's like 6 or 7 different gifts, YouTube ads, omnipresent retargeting. Our YouTube ads webinar, which kind of covers the whole strategy. It shows how it works. And then our PDF, which I wrote out. And I mean, I took a bunch of time to write that out. And I was actually at the ClickFunnels mastermind in Paradise, and I was like sipping my pina colada, and I was just banging out 19 pages, mapping out the whole process of exactly how to set that up, and it'll show like the different audiences. So I'm going to get into it here, but this is one of the things that there's some things I can say, like the video, the hook, educate, call to action. You're going to get that from here. Some of the other things you kind of, there's like step by step, but what I want to do is break it down as much as possible. So with that said, that's kind of a companion tool. The different ways that you could do the audiences, by the way, Anik, as you have questions, I understand this side gets a little more complicated, but there's a few different types of audiences. So the first are Google pre-built audiences. These are in-market audiences or affinity audiences. Now, affinity audiences, typically those are going to work more mass market, more B2C, like you said. Those affinity audiences are people that, love like are into business in general. It's like those are very big affinity. That's not necessarily, I guess that we just talk about B2B, but like that's going to apply to like a potential entrepreneur, kind of more of a mass market business opportunity type thing. Versus if you're trying to target B2B, you're probably going to want to go to in-market audiences. Now, for you, one of our best in-market audiences that Google pre-built is in the market for marketing and advertising. In the market for marketing and advertising is still one of our top audiences. And like Google just knows. I mean, Google also knows because they run like, so it's kind of funny that they're given this too. But in the market for marketing and advertising, they know who's been looking that up on Google, who's in the market for it, and you can run ads in front of those people. So that's an audience. So remember, now we have those videos, people watching course marketing videos. Now let's say that. There's other in-market audiences, but we want to move on. So there's pre-built Google audiences, affinity, those are more broad, in-markets, more specific. Think of those like interests and behaviors on Facebook. It's going to be more specific. And then there's also the world is your oyster kind of version, which is they have these custom affinity audiences. So you can just build or they call them custom segments now. They've changed these names like 5 times in the time that I've been teaching all this. So it's custom segments now, just to clarify. So custom segments, and you can build these out to say virtually anything, any keyword, and it'll tell you if it's identifying people in the side. But you can add in course marketing, internet marketing, information products, coaching, consulting, online courses, all these different segments, and you build those into a segment. So you could call one online courses segment, coaching and consulting segment, internet marketing segment, and then just build those in. And so what Google's doing is it's finding people that are interested in or are described by the words that you're typing in. Now, you can also use keyword search for some of this as well, although this is more you thinking about your avatar and saying, I wonder what this, like what would describe this person. And so you're typing those in. You could build custom segments. Does that make sense on the custom segment side?
It does. And you said you could do it off of URLs also, right?
Yes, that's what I'm getting into next.
Okay.
Is you can also, now you could go deeper. And so you could do this off of URLs. And some people ask me, well, how is that possible? Here's what you do. You can actually go in and put in a URL like clickfunnels.com. You could put in URLs of, whether it be competitors or kind of complementary things. I know, if people are using ClickFunnels, if they're using these different things, Kajabi, whatever, then, okay, this is somebody that may be interested in YouTube ads to promote whatever it is that they're selling, right? And then I'm layering it with this, I'm layering it with the videos they're watching and throwing it all together. And so you can do that. You can put in the URLs. And then what it does, now technically what Google says is it's anybody who's been to these sites or similar sites. But if you put in like 5 different sites that are all pretty similar in a category, then what you can do is it'll find people that are similar to, like, go to those sites. Now you might ask yourself, well, how does Google know? Again, they have Google search. People don't usually just type in the URL. They go to Google search, they click it. And they have Google Analytics, which is installed on the vast majority of websites. So they know, and they're willing to give that information to you, if you know how to use it, which you now know how to use it.
So one time I had heard a trick about this. I never ended up really using it because, again, I think in the B2C space, you're just going from macro level and you let your pixel, our pixel got so freaking like fired up that we just like let the pixel go, and it's so different now. But I remember once hearing a secret. People were like, don't use, like, to pick on ClickFunnels, don't use clickfunnels.com. Use the specific URL that people see when they log into ClickFunnels. Now it's not just a looky-loo, it's like actual people that have paid and bought. Do you go that far, or is that just overkill?
You can go that far. You can go that far. And you can go deep into that. Now, one thing that I will say is that is a really good way to do it when it works. It depends on how the site's mapped as to the effectiveness of how well the subdomains work. It does work well on ClickFunnels because it's technically another subdomain. I think it's app.clickfunnels or something, or login or something along those lines. So that, and the other thing too is you can also get subdomains because ClickFunnels could also have people that are going to, like, ClickFunnels sites that maybe use so-and-so.clickfunnels.com. So you can go deeper into that and target specifically. And actually we've, I know people who have run like campaigns like mattress companies. They're targeting like walmart.com/mattress, right? And people that are mattresses or whatever the URL is. So you can go more granular into that as well and target people similar to people going to those sites. And there's certain things that work too, is whether or not that site shows up on Google. Like if you're looking up mattresses, maybe walmart.com/mattress, look for that. That's obviously a different example than our B2B example,
Sure.
but that's kind of a good element there. So you can get deep and more granular and dive deep into it. There's a lot of fun tricks that you can do.
Yeah. And I know you call it the 3D, but there's almost like this fourth player that people should get excited about, which is the pixel. So as you start doing this 3D and all those people start skipping ads because it's not relevant, because you said, like, in my case, I'll say in the beginning of the ad, are you a 6-figure information marketer? Like, it's just like, if you're not, hopefully you just click skip ad. And now that pixel starts to figure out, or the algorithm starts to figure out, like, oh, I see. So you've guided the algorithm this way, and now the algorithm's like, all right, I'll take it from here. Like, I get it. And before you know it, you've got this like hidden segment that's created in the back end of Google just for you, which is what we found to be so powerful with Google. I found with Facebook, the pixel learns quicker, but is not as versatile. I found the Google Pixel takes a little bit longer to learn, but it's freaking like, it just is like crazy how targeted it can get. That's awesome, man. Like, I completely makes sense. Now, I will tell anyone who's listening right now, anyone who's listening who's never studied YouTube ads, who's never been inside the platform and looked at that, you've got smoke coming off of your head right now. I can see it from here, and you're just like, what the hell just happened? If that's the case, I definitely think you should watch Alric's webinar. You should download his. What's in market? What's, affinity? What's this? I'll tell you, it took me a couple of months before I finally understood what the heck all these things were. But now I get it because I've been in the system, I've built them, I've played with them. It is really cool though, the versatility that Google gives you. Just think about it this way. You can get down to a cart page. So you could be like, if someone has landed on this particular, you got a nutraceutical, you got a nutritional supplement, there's a company, blah, blah, blah. You don't want all the looky-loos. You're like, if someone landed on their cart page, like, that's my audience. Like, I want to talk to those people. And you can do that. Most of the time when I tell people this, they're shocked. I recently, actually, Anik, I was watching your webinar. As I told you, I funnel hacked it. And at the same time, down the other side of my Learn Center, there's someone who rents from us that's a contractor. They do house remodeling. And he came over and he was talking to me and he was like, hey, how do I? And I genuinely am laughing. I'm like, I just watched this guy and he was talking about it. And I saw on the video, like I saw on the screen, there was like a new home buyer, a built audience on. And I'm like, all you would have to do is pick the area, pick that. And he does expensive homes, pick top 10%. And your ads in the beginning would just say, did you just buy a new home and don't really like the kitchen? Want a brand new kitchen? We'll do it for you. And he's looking at me, he's like, you could do that? I'm like, yeah, like it's kind of scary, but yeah, like you can. I'm like, you can pick specific URLs of your competitors. You can pick specific URLs of websites online. Like what are some of the sites you go to when you're remodeling your house? You go to the usual furniture sites, the usual house site and all. Like you can pick that and pop it in. And I think people who are not marketers are baffled that you can do this. And it's like, you can. It's really powerful stuff. That's awesome, dude. So we talked about targeting. I get it. I mean, I really do. I know what ad I want to run. I know what targeting I would want to run and test. I think it would be a no-brainer and just give it a little bit of money, let that pixel, let the algorithm learn. I think beyond that, man, I mean, we were on the third step, but you had said webinar. In my head, I already know what webinar I want to run because you wrote that during my ad. So the rest, I'll leave it to you. I mean, what do you want to share with that?
Yeah. And so the last thing that I would say, and who knows, maybe this is another video, another podcast or something, but there's omnipresent retargeting is the other thing. And that's in that gift. Like I didn't want to just give you one gift, two gifts. Like there's 6 or 7 different gifts there on that page, adoutreach.com/gift. One of the other ones is our omnipresent retargeting webinar and our omnipresent retargeting PDF, which I outdid myself from the other one. That's 24 pages long and covers all the different platforms. But I really want to paint a picture because I really believe one of the most undervalued assets in most businesses, especially information marketing businesses, like you're saying here, we kind of mapped out your webinars, like the 7 different things. One of the things that people miss out on is your retargeting list. So you have YouTube ads bringing people in, but what about retargeting? If you think about the omnipresent retargeting machine as a gigantic microwave, it's this gigantic microwave, and it's warming up your leads. Picture your leads as popcorn kernels. Some of them are going to pop naturally, but there's going to be a lot more kernels, like 95% of them that are still kernels. You put them into the microwave, you turn it on, it warms up all those kernels, all those leads from every direction, from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Taboola, Outbrain, AdRoll, Pinterest, every single platform that your ideal clients are on with retargeting ads that are custom to that platform to warm them up until they're ready to go. That's a whole nother topic. We can have another time, but also, I've got some trainings on that too, but that's the only other thing I wanted to share just with anybody here. But yeah, YouTube ads, 3D, having that hook, educate, call to action, 3D targeting, right person with the ability to invest at the right time with the right YouTube ad. That's what drives the conversions. And I'm happy to reshare some of where people can go from here.
Yeah. So adoutreach.com/gift, everybody, is where you go to start getting all of these free gifts, which is awesome that he's giving this stuff away because most people would never do that. So now we're moving we got to the ad, we know how to target it, and we move into the webinar. Here's what I learned from funnel hacking your webinar. You let me know. Shorter. So if you're going to do a sales webinar where you're going to sell, and this I've known from the past too, because I've done a lot of webinar to sales team stuff. If you're going to do a webinar that's going to sell something, you're usually going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours long with the pitch and everything included. If you're doing a webinar where you're just asking for them to book a call with your team to talk further, it's usually about 45 to 60 minutes. And what's most interesting is your pitch is like 10 minutes max. You're really, and I noticed on yours, your pitch was actually really short. And then you just stacked on like a ridiculous amount of testimonials, which was highly effective. I mean, initially I remember when I watched your pitch and it just ended, I was like, what the heck, man? That was such a soft pitch. Like, come on, But then I sat there and I noticed myself 5 minutes later still watching, and I was like, wait a minute. I just got tricked. What the hell am I still watching this for? But it was like completely, like just building up the proof. So I noticed shorter. I noticed framework driven. Like you definitely got into, so what I noticed with yours was way more trainee than I would ever do a B2C webinar. It was very like, you made sure the person like understood and had a true aha and could just walk away from that and say, oh my God, I get it. But what usually happens with smarter business owners is they don't walk away. They usually say, give me more. So those are some of the key differences I noticed and some of the key things I saw you doing. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so I completely agree. And one of the big things is just providing a lot of value, because it's a B2B person. And I want to put myself in their shoes. If they're showing up and they're showing up to a webinar, I know that I don't like it when there's a lot of fluff. Now, there are certain things you need to do. So yes, I do cover credibility, but I actually explain why I'm doing that. If you're like me, you want to know you're learning from the best. And I don't say this to brag, but I've been featured X, Y, and Z. Here's the results I've gotten for myself, but even more importantly, results for clients. And now let me dive in and teach you. It is important to do those types of things. You can't miss out on the basics. And by the way, I mean, as with probably everything you do, I've learned by experience, because I got into, I had some webinars where I'm like, I'm just going to just do value and what some people would call fluff at all. But at the same time, you need a little bit of that to set the stage and build your credibility. But then it's all, so you got to tell a story, 5-10 minutes max. But then from there, value, providing value, aha moments, teaching frameworks. I really focus on what and why, but not how. One thing that you'll notice is, yes, I have screenshots, but I won't actually dive in and show exactly how to set it up. Because the other thing too is that's doing a disservice, because not only having people, work with us, but also things change all the time. Our trainings, when we're working hands-on with people, it's up to date. And then, but on our webinar, we've got our webinar, we dial it in, we're going to have that out there. It's also custom. Each person needs something different. So I am being truthful and honest on the webinar when I say, hey, I'm going to give you all the frameworks, and these frameworks are timeless. However, to actually implement this, that's why I want to, recommend a call. And I'll tell people, you just go to adoutreach.com/apply, and then people go and they book a strategy call. And then our advisors will map out with them exactly what to do. We'll learn about their business. We'll map out, all right, here's exactly what you need to do. And we'll take a consultative approach, which I'm sure, when you get on sales calls, and I'm sure Cole talked about this too, understand what somebody's needs are. It's not about selling, it's about understanding. We call our team advisors. We don't even call them salespeople, they're advisors, because they're trained to understand where people are at and then map out what YouTube ads look like and see if it's a good fit. And, the other things too is sometimes we say, hey, maybe YouTube ads aren't the best fit for you right now. Maybe it's this, or maybe it's that, or maybe you should really also add omnipresent retargeting or do whatever. But I think it's important to have that value first frame, both in your ad, in your webinar, and then also in your sales call. And then of course, all the values delivered as soon as people, they sign up for the program and dive in, hands on.
That's amazing. Dude, I don't know if you know, but we've gone over an hour now.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, time flies.
Same thing happened when we were doing the Facebook Live, where it was like, wait, what? We hit 30 minutes. I actually, here's what I want to propose. So I really do have a lot. And I think that I gave a title to this as Advanced YouTube Ad Secrets to Sell High Ticket Products with Alrik Heck, because this really was advanced stuff. This was more above and beyond anything. I've had a few guests teach YouTube ads, nothing like this level. So here's what I think I want to do. I think I want to wrap it up here, because a lot of people are watching this and you need to go back and watch it at least 1 or 2 more times. I promise you, okay? And the reason I say that is because I just heard a portion of this presentation from Alrik about a week ago when we were doing the Facebook Live. And yet today, again, I got even more ahas, which reminds me, go to webinarcon.com. If you are an existing entrepreneur, okay, you have to already be an existing entrepreneur, already doing a good amount of revenue. And either you have a webinar or you're looking to build a webinar, then you got to show up to webinarcon.com. It is for serious players only. The ticket price is very high on purpose. But I promise you, in that room, man, the deals, that room is made so that you can actually make deals with people. You can walk up to myself or Alrik and say, I want to make a deal with you. And we actually sit down and say, what do you got? Webinarcon.com, Alrik is going to be speaking there, so he'll go even deeper into some of these things. But other than that, what I'd love to do, Alrik, I commit, we've got September 8th, so I don't know when this episode's releasing, probably not before September 8th for sure. I got my big launch coming up. And then we got some other stuff going on. I commit to creating this campaign. I'm going to create this. I'm going to create a webinar. I'm going to create exactly like we've talked about, an ad and everything. I'm going to go run it. And we should get you back on another episode to like review everything. I'll throw the data out and you tell me what it looks like. Sounds fun. Awesome, man. Well, listen, adoutreach.com/gift. Where else can people go to stalk you and give you money?
Awesome. Yeah, so adoutreach.com/gift, all the trainings are there. What we also have is if you're interested to, talk with our team, I mentioned this, it's at the end of our webinar. If you're like, hey, I really want to see if this works for me, you're busy entrepreneur, you're like, all right, I just want to go straight to the source, have us work together. adoutreach.com/apply. You could book a call to speak with our team. And then also keywordsearch.com. That is our YouTube keyword research tool. First few searches are free, so you can check that out. It also got Ad Spy, YouTube. You can finally spy on the YouTube ads. But yeah, really appreciate it. This has been incredible, Anik. Again, adoutreach.com/gift. I want to provide a lot of value. That's all for free. And I'm excited to come back soon. It's going to be awesome.
Listen, everyone, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll pop the URLs for you in the description below. Make sure you click it. Make sure you grab everything you can. And adoutreach.com/apply if you want to talk about how to actually work with Auric's team. They have an amazing, you can talk to one of their advisors and see if you qualify to be working with their team for your business.